I finished off the videos of the monster and the evil and all that, and I think going through this Magnum Opus, I know that there will be like the people who come a lot to it will be wondering why. And I know I put on there the Zora Neale Hurston story about people claiming, you know, they will inflict pain on you, and then they'll act like you enjoyed it or you wanted to get the pain inflicted on you. There's a reason to why I do this. So I would never want nobody to experience what I experienced. So when we go through life, you either look at other people as your foe or your friend or things like that. Me personally, if you've never done nothing to me, I'm going to always assume that you come in peace, right? And I know this could be like a detriment to, I mean, people could always be enemies, you know what I'm saying? But it just is what it is, and it's just how I am. Now I don't let people next to me, but this is just the type of person I am. I can't change it, right? The last thing I want to do is to watch somebody go through what I went through. I don't care if I don't like you, because one of the reasons why is because I'm not a selfish person. And what people don't understand is that in this world, you have two types of people: selfish person people or selfless people, right? I've always been a selfless person. I will, you know, help people out. I make sure like I don't let stuff happen in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just that type of person. And what I found is that there's other people like me, but there's not that many. There's not that many people like me. What you find in this world, especially in Western society or the United States, is that because it's dog eat dog, everybody is competing with each other, and everybody's trying to take what you got so that they can have it. And what I have found is that this is an unsustaining act. This is unsustainable. I don't care what people think when they see other people, like, oh, this person steals all day and he has all this. No, I'm telling you, it is unsustainable. I have gotten way more fulfillment than anybody probably could ever get in their lifetime. And that was from me being me. And I got that fulfillment from doing so many good deeds. Watching people make this mistake is sad to me, because they swear that they're going to get ahead by destroying other people. And one of the things I attribute this to is the golden rule, and that's what this topic is on today. The golden rule. The golden rule states that you do unto others as you want done to yourself, as you want done. You know, you do on your others, you treat others how you want to be treated. You do on others as you want done for yourself. And it's the law of like karma, right? The karmic law, karmic retribution, things like that. That's why I said there's two types of people, two types of humans on this earth: human selfishness or human selflessness, right? When you believe in karma, when you believe in the golden rule, more than likely you're one of those people that do good deeds. You're one of those people that don't do some of the stuff that you see other people do, as far as the type of bad deeds. And I'm gonna give you an example, right? I was speaking to somebody today, and I was using an example of, if you had an opportunity to take advantage of somebody, would you do it? Now, this obviously is very subjective, and this is also very situational, right? But the morality and integrity is still the same. If you had the opportunity to get out on a person, would you do it? Then you have a question on if you had an opportunity to get out on somebody that you think is a bad person, would you do it? See, now this is when it gets a little bit more deep, because now we're talking about people that you don't find favorable. And I'll give you an example. The other day I was looking at this on Substack about Donald Trump, and the people were saying, well, Donald Trump's a bad person, so it's okay for that to happen. And if you look at what Dr. Martin Luther King said, he said an injustice anywhere is an injustice to everyone, everywhere. I want you to understand what he said. I'm going to repeat it. An injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere and to everyone. He didn't say if you were a good person, and he didn't say that. And see, this is where we have come and failed as a community, and that's why our society is the way it is. Because what you find is that people pick and choose, and the person that picks and choose is worse than the person that they inflict the damage on. Now, what I also find is that, and this has happened to me, is that they inflict damage on people that actually is innocent or not guilty. Let's just say that. And that's the cause of human selfishness, right? So you're over here inflicted damage on somebody, and then that person you find out is innocent. What do? Do you apologize? I've also found that people don't apologize. They not only don't apologize when they do this, but they almost try to justify their own actions. Like, well, shoot, I did it because such and such told me. Like, I mean, it is almost extremely disgusting. And I've always had a very fair and judging character, right? So if something happens, I make sure that the worst case scenario is the last thing that I do, right? This is like the last thing. I'm going to spare you all the way till I can't spare you no more. This is my scale, or whatever you want to call it, right? And the reason why I spare and I do it like that is because I have been through a situation where where I have been lied on and things like that. So that's why you would wait and use this as a last resort. And that's what we see now. That's why our society, country, whatever, is the way it is. All right. So if we don't have a golden rule, and we have a lot of people doing on to others as they would never want done to themselves, what do we have? What do we have? Do we have any law and order? Now, next month, I'm going to make videos literally about my life and what I've experienced. Earlier in the video, just now, I just said the reason why I'm doing the video is for people to not experience what I experienced. Well, I'm actually going to do a video literally giving full detail on what I have experienced in my life. I'm going to show you pictures. I'm going to show you pictures of people. I'm going to show you legal work. I'm going to show you everything, literally straight like that. And I'm going to show you it not to out people, or whatever you want to call it, or whatever people do. I'm going to show you it to bring context, to show proof. As a Muslim, we show proof and evidence. I want to show you proof. I'm going to show you what I've experienced. I'm going to tell you what I went through from that experience. I'm going to tell you how I felt from that experience. Hopefully this can help a person that's in the same situation. Hopefully this will help a person not make the same mistakes that I made. Maybe they will make the same mistake. I don't know. That's not my decision. My only goal is to hopefully help a person out that they don't have to make this mistake, because I made it already. I made it for you. You ain't got to make this joint for you. I made it for you. You ain't got to make the mistake. I did it. So hopefully that'll give a person more context. And I lived by the golden rule. I lived by that. My whole life I was been doing good deeds, man. My whole life I've been going out my way to do good, thinking that it was going to benefit me. Like, one of the stories I'm gonna tell you is how I made a promise to somebody that ended up biting me 20 years later. I mean, this is just because I wanted to keep my word. I mean, this is real detriment. Like, some people have died trying to keep their word. Some people lose their ultimate lesson. They have learned the ultimate lessons trying to keep their word, or trying to, save people and things like that. I mean, this is real life. That's why I said, when I talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, we're talking about a person that sacrificed his own life. He could have been a father. This person could have been a father to his kids and said, F everybody else. What y'all doing for him? You name one person doing something for him right now. Name somebody doing something for Dr. Martin Luther King and his family right now. His kids could have had a father. If he was to look at our society right now, he would snap. He would snap. He sacrificed his life for this. He would snap. It wouldn't be no rap. He'll snap. He'll snap. It wouldn't be no rap. Nobody is serving him correctly. Like, nobody's doing well. And I mean, if anybody did, if Jesus was to look at us, if the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he was to look at us, you think they would be happy? You think any of these prophets would be happy? The ones, especially the ones that have sacrificed themselves, burnt at the stake. You think anybody would be happy at us? How many people care? How many people look at this joke and be like, man, I don't give a freak. I'm doing me. Like, how many people care? I mean, this is where we at with it, right? This is society we at with it. This is where we at with it. Where it's cool to stack money, right? We're going to stack money all day, right? We're going to make $100 a day, turn around and make $200 tomorrow, put the 100 in the bank. You know what I'm saying? The regular flip, right? We're going to stack money, right? Who's stacking good deeds? Anybody? Anybody doing good? All right, if nobody's doing good, then who's stacking bad deeds? Who's stacking bad deeds? Who's stacking robberies? Who's stacking drug sales? Who's stacking murders? Who's stacking rapes? Because if this is how, this is what it is, right? This is how we live, right? See, this is a real testament. This is real life, right? And, in Corinthians, in the Christian doctrine in Corinthians 5:11, in the first book of Corinthians, he says to you that if any brother bears your name, and then indulges in this type of behavior, sexual immorality, greed, idolatry, drunkard, stuff like that, you ain't even supposed to not only deal with him, you don't even supposed to eat with him. Now, I'm not going into detail about that because nobody can really tell me about a person's character. Everybody has shortcomings. That's not a thing, but I've watched people, I could look right in their face and see the devil right in their face. And I know that face. I know them eyes because I had them. I had them before. See, you can't really pull the wool over somebody's eyes that's actually did that before. I know what that looks like. And this wasn't something that I was okay with being. And if you're okay with being that, then that's cool. Then you can disregard this type of stuff and move on. But if you're not okay with being that, and you're not okay with living that way, then I can show you how I got out of it. And this golden rule stuff is enough for you to get out of it, because truthfully, in all actuality, you're going to receive punishment that's worse than the action. I've received punishment worse than I've done. I've received that. I've received worse than what I've done. I have done things out of the golden rule, hoping that I was doing the right thing, right? And it backfired in my face. And I could tell you how I felt like I was doing the right thing, but it backfired in my face. That's how I said the thing about you can't get right out of doing wrong when I gave the other video. And that's a real law. What goes around does come around. This is a real law. This is not no fake law. This is not no fake religious doctrine of superstition and all that, a dogma that's not real, with the daddy God in the sky or whatever they try to talk. Like, I don't care who you are as a person. If you think you can dodge karma, you out of control. I will literally give you stories on things I saw or did or been through in my life, literally step by step. I'll show you pictures of the people, who they are and everything. I will literally show you this type of stuff. You will not dodge this stuff. You will not dodge it. And even the people in the story is going to make sure they're going to get their karma. And this wouldn't be like a revenge thing, because in all actuality, like I said in the last video, beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give way to wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay. Without no rap, he says, I will repay. Yo, he says this. This is no rap. This is exactly those words. I will repay. And he will. And I mean, even with me giving names and stories and individual details, you have a life. Anybody watching this has a life. You know about karma. You've experienced it. You've seen it. You know about the golden rule. You've experienced it. You have seen it. Wallahi, the golden rule is the reason why I'm still alive. Why I'm still blessed. Why I'm so blessed. I'm not still blessed. I am beyond blessed. That's what the golden rule has done for me. Why am I still blessed? Why are you so blessed? Why are you so blessed? Because I did good. That's why I'm still blessed. I did good, and I did that out of my heart. I did that because I made the right decision at the time to make at that time. When I made the decision, I seen the crossroad, I'm like, oh, what should I do right now? I made the right decision. That's why I'm blessed. That's what happens when you live by the golden rule. And you're going to see people, right, that have these karmic retributions in life, right? And you hope that they get it fulfilled before they die. Or if death is their karmic retribution. You will hope that this happens. Because, I mean, what happens if you don't? Do you come back here and have to live it all over again? Do you go to hell? Or do you, does it affect your family? Because I'm sure that people know that it could affect the people that you love the most. If you're trying to outrun this, right? If you're trying to outrun the golden rule, right? If you're not wise or observant enough to understand this is something you can't outrun. I've had people literally try their hardest. They'll do anything to try to hopefully not have whatever catch up to them. This is like a normal occurrence for people that do wrong, right? I talk about Emmett Till, where the lady said that Emmett Till whistled at him or at her, and she got Emmett Till killed, right? I mentioned that on the last show, right? How long did she have to keep up that lie? She had to live with that lie for her whole life. And then she finally gave it up on her deathbed. Like that was supposed to be some type of relief, that she got somebody killed herself. purposely. Herself, purposely. If that isn't disgusting enough. So like, this is the type of behavior that happens with people that don't live by the golden rule. And then she had to live with that her whole life. And that's another thing that I'm going to, another part of the story, because I will tell you that there's people that live with a lot of stuff like that their whole life, and they're always in prison. And I know this because a lot of my karmic guilt, a lot of my guilt, a lot of my grief that I've had over my life was literally relieved from me like that. I wish somebody will be able to see it and understand what I mean by literally release like that. The second that this experience happened, I felt no more grief. I felt no more guilt. I felt none of it. It was over. Thank you for it, because this is the present. This is the gift that the law gives to you, that God gives to you when you live in right. This is the gift that he gives to you, because automatically when you have guilt or when you have grief on something, you feel it. You like, all right, especially if you have a conscience. Of course, if you have a conscience, you're like, all right, you know what, I did wrong. I shouldn't have did that. And you might live your whole life trying to make up for that. And then what happens is the second that you see somebody do some affliction that ain't right, you relieve from it. Done. I'm done. I'm chilling now. And that's something that's what makes me more blessed now than I've ever been. So, this is the type of life that you live when you start respecting this golden rule. And this is part of the Magnum Opus, because this is part of turning lead into gold. This is part of turning your life that was living wrong, lead, into gold, into a living better life, a golden life. Or the song says, living life like it's golden, right? And watching karma, or even standing next to somebody or being with somebody that you know is about to have karmic retribution, to me, this is something that could be beneficial and a curse. Because what happens is you might get hit with their karma too, trying to either save them or trying to, be next to them. And I've seen that too. Now, can it benefit you? Yes, because you might have needed to see that. I've seen so much stuff in my life that I really wish I didn't see, but I had no choice but to see it, and it was meant for me to see. I couldn't even escape that. And what happens is that it affected my decision making later on in life. This is part of the karma. So you might actually be next to somebody trying to help them, like, oh man, I'm not gonna let that happen to you because you don't deserve it. Whole time they do deserve it, and whole time they about to it's gonna happen to them no matter what. And that's just part of this life that we live, y'all. We really have we're having a really rough time right here, right? Now, I could tell you every day is a blessing for me, and it really is. I mean, every day is a complete blessing for me. I don't know, I could be happier, but like I couldn't be more at peace. I don't know how to explain that part to somebody. But the thing is that when you see other people suffering, when you get to a point where you're happy, right? And then you see other people suffering, it don't sit right with you. It doesn't sit right with me. Like it never did. That's part of the reason why I knew what type of person I was. Because like I said about giving a coat off your back and all that, you got $2, nobody has, somebody next to you don't have none, what you gonna do? So that's part of where you know what type of person you are. But when you see the world suffering, when you see people suffering, when you see people, not knowing how to love, not knowing how to get out of a rut or out of karmic patterns or bad patterns and things like that, when you see these type of behaviors and you sit back and you just like, well, I'm not going to do nothing with that. I'm not going to try to help. What are you contributing in life then? Are you contributing your worth. Because if you've experienced it, you can contribute something to it, right? So are you contributing back in the matrix? Are you contributing good back into the matrix? And you're probably not. So that's part of the golden rule, because that's what I meant when I said that this is the reason why I'm blessed. This magnum opus, this experience of going through trials and tribulations and then making it out from the other end to be able to help somebody else out is the normal. That's not even no extra stuff. That's like kind of normal for real. The extra stuff is sacrificing your life like Dr. Martin Luther King, like Malcolm X and all that. That's the extra, right? Giving your life up when you could have been doing the normal and doing anything, but giving your life up for this. That's the extra. The normal is, what I'm doing, truthfully. Getting yourself martyred for what you believe in is for sure extra. You know what I'm saying? That's for sure extra. That's self-mastery level. Or not just giving yourself martyred. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's been in 27 years in prison for the same, persecution and apartheid and all that. And then coming out and then not even taking revenge, coming out and sparing the people that did it, and then still becoming president and leading his nation and stuff like that. I mean, this is real. This is true mastery. This is true world mastery. I mean, these type of people we need more of, right? But we don't get that. And what we get is what we see. We get people don't even want to have kids. People don't even want to bring kids into the world that we see right now. People not having kids because they know the world is messed up. I don't know if that's, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't even know if to say that that's immoral. Because I mean, if you really feel the world is so messed up, then why would you want to bring somebody you want to love so much into it? So I can understand their point of view, but then if you have that point of view and you see it, are you the one that's going to be the solution or the problem? And if you are going to be the problem, then yeah, you wouldn't bring nobody else into it, because you're going to have another problem. Like you in the problem is going to be the problem. You know what I mean? But if you feel like you are a solution into this world, then why wouldn't you have somebody else to help combat it? Because we're doing war, right? When we got war, what we do? We recruit people. Come on, we out. Come on, we out. I mean, we drafting people, we sending people overseas, and we doing all that because we need strength in the numbers. So if we're having a religious battle, or not religious battle, a spiritual battle, or a battle between good and evil, are we recruiting the good? I guess maybe not. Because I can almost tell you, I know I haven't met nobody like me, so I'm almost out here fighting myself. I'm fighting by myself. If you're out fighting by yourself like me, right, then I know you live in a fulfilled life. Because I mean, if you are a father, then what would be better than to bring the world into a better, bring your child out into a better place? If you are a leader, then you want to lead people to the promised land, right? See, because when we are out here doing good deeds and things like that, the first thing you want to do is you want to lead people into glory, or lead people into heaven, or what you would consider to be, good, right? And if you're not doing that, are you living a purposed or fulfilled life? Or are you living to pay bills and then dying? See, this is the question that that you will really have to ask yourself. Or even better, are you living a fulfilled and purpose life? Are you getting closer with God? Because the first thing I said has more to do with anybody without a religion. I don't care if you got a relationship with God or not, or if you have a religious doctrine you follow, whatever. You can still do that. But the second one is very important to a religious person, because now we're talking about the only reason why a person would live is to have a purpose-filled life, and that's really to live for God, and that's really living to get closer to Him. And the only way you're going to be able to get closer to Him is by doing good, right? I mean, I could give you I'm gonna put it up there. I'm gonna show you how many Islamic texts I can prove to you on that, or how many Christian texts I could prove to you on that. I'm gonna put that joint up, because that's really what it is, right? If you are that. But even if you're not that, it wouldn't matter anyway. Because if you're not that, you're still living a purpose-filled life by doing good. That's the golden rule. You doing to others as you want done to yourself, yo. And if you out here not living like that, then know what you got coming to you. Because it's going to happen. I don't care how fast you can run or where you going to hide. That's what you got. I'm gone.